You ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Hi everyone, Latrice here at Sterling Law Offices, and today I'm with one of my favorite people, Anne Brannon of Johnson Bank, where she is AVP Senior Mortgage Loan Officer. And so she helps our clients who are going through a divorce and they're either considering refinancing their home to stay in it or trying to get their own new home. And the reason why we wanted to talk with Anne is because it's all about timing for a lot of our clients. They don't understand that if you want to buy a new home going through a divorce, that number one, it's possible, and number two, there are some time frames and things that need to be in your documents in order to make that happen. And if you're not thinking about talking with your attorney ahead of time, you're kind of missing some deadlines. So we appreciate you taking time out. Anne has been in this business for more than 16 years. She's at Johnson Bank. They have locations all over southeast Wisconsin, and I know they're in Waukesha, Brookfield, Racine, Kenosha,
Milwaukee,
Green Bay,
Appleton, Madison.
So all of our clients, where all of our offices are, can definitely use Anne and her services, and she is a wealth of knowledge. Not only do you help our clients in just finding out what they're looking for, but she also helps us as attorneys make sure that we're signing debts appropriately, the language that's included in it, and really talking about support right away with our clients. So I want to start really by asking you, is it possible to purchase a home during a divorce?
Yeah, it's possible to purchase a home during a divorce. It depends on where you're at as far as the marital settlement agreement.
Mm-hmm.
We can use a partial marital settlement agreement that addresses a few things. That has to address what's going on with the current home, if there is a current home owned. Is there going to be support and any current debts that are credit cards, student loans, car payments, who's getting that.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier if there's less debt,
Mm-hmm.
but you can buy a home before the divorce is final, definitely.
And I think, just to clarify, because me and Anne do this every day, as far as the partial marital settlement agreement, what Anne is talking about is sometimes you might not have all the details of your divorce finalized, like, you know, you guys are agreeing who's keeping the home,
right,
or who's moving out of the home and needs to purchase a home, but you don't have your custody and placement decisions finalized. You don't have just everything done, retirement,
yeah,
how you guys are dividing those accounts. But you can get started by doing what's kind of a shortened version. It's called a partial because it's not the entire agreement. A partial marital settlement agreement to identify and outline who's taking the debts, what support's going to be, so that they can determine whether or not you can afford the home or the mortgage, etc. So say you are the spouse who is going to be needing support from your other spouse as far as alimony, because you make less.
right.
Is there certain steps you need to be taking right away?
So what I would suggest in that situation is that if you're going to need the support to qualify to either refi the house or purchase a home, I would suggest doing an order, have your attorney do an order, basically assigning what they think is going to be around the support amount. That way, because otherwise you have to wait 6 months for the support in order to use it. So if you have an order and it's kind of around what you think you're going to be getting, we can start counting forward from that day forward.
So you're looking for a history of support of at least 6 months.
Yeah.
And in Wisconsin, we could do temporary orders of support. Would that count if it's not similar to?
Yeah, definitely. And then make sure that it's documented. I had one client that what she did was she opened up her own checking account. He gave her a check every month, and we can show the paper trail that it was tracked, that every month he gave her this $3,500. So it needs to be documented. You need to keep track of it.
So if it's not being paid directly through the Wisconsin Trust Fund,
right,
then it's easier to show where it's coming from by setting up a different account. That's
make sure you do that. That it shows that it's separate.
And I think it's probably because you wouldn't know if it's being paid towards a bill, or something else. You want to show that that money went in for $3,500 from whom and how you used it. Okay. Now, say you are the spouse paying support and you want to purchase a home. Is there anything else different that needs to be done?
If your spouse is going to be paying support, we need, again, it could be a partial marital settlement agreement. Need to know what that support amount is going to be. If you can handle purchasing the home on your own, purchasing the home, paying the support, that's why I would come in the beginning. Let's see what the numbers look like. The other house, if they currently own a home together, need to know what's going on with that house. Sometimes the person qualifies for all payments.
Okay.
They qualify for that payment, the new payment, and the support. If that's the case, it's really easy.
Right.
If they don't, then we need to either have that other house refinanced or sold.
Okay.
Before this person can purchase a new house.
Okay. Okay, so if you can afford to keep your old marital residence and purchase a new one, it's basically you just have to get certain paperwork or documents done. What documents would you need then?
Again, probably a partial marital settlement agreement addressing the same stuff. What's the support number going to be? What's going on with any current debt? What's going on with the current home? A lot of times with the current home, if the person isn't ready to refinance, then we're just going to include the debt in there.
Okay.
We're going to say that they're going to stay on the current home. They're going to continue on it. But if they qualify, it's much simpler. Now, if they don't qualify, then that agreement would have to say that this house has to be refinanced first.
Okay.
They have to quit claim off of the current marital residence.
Okay. When do normally people come and talk to you first about a mortgage? Is it?
Well, usually with the attorneys that I work with, we start in the beginning.
Okay.
And usually they refer them over to me so we can work through the numbers right away. And a lot of times they work with couples.
Okay.
So that's the best time, because then we're looking at numbers. The other thing is if you're looking to refi your current residence, I can order the appraisal for it. I don't order it myself, but someone out in my office orders it. So I don't have any say over the appraisal, what the value is going to be. But that way you don't have to pay for two appraisals, and you're adjusting the numbers based off of what the value really is.
And then when talking with you, and then you get a chance to see all their financial situation, including debts. I mean, are there times where there are certain debts, like non-secured debts, that you are better to take compared to other debts? I mean, what are you looking at when you're looking at everyone's entire picture and giving advice?
Well, you mean as far as I basically would qualify them with what they can handle.
Okay.
So sometimes it works out better if the client, like a lot of times they're using retirement assets to pay off debt. And sometimes I can say, you know what, look, if we pay this $15,000 in credit card debt off at the house, you still qualify and you're not using retirement assets. So I look at the whole picture. A lot of times the client knows whose debt is whose and who's getting what.
Okay.
So I pretty much don't usually have to address that too much, but I will make suggestions as to what to do with the debt. Sometimes they're paying a car payment and the car payment's like $600 a month, and I'll say, and the argument would be, well, I don't want to put that on my 30-year mortgage. Well, right now you're looking at just saving money right now. You're trying to keep your monthly overall output less. So I've had clients where I've told them to trade in a car. Get a different car. That car is too expensive for you. Get a different car, lease a different car, find something in the 200s.
That's very practical.
Yeah, very practical. So I do look at that too, at the whole picture.
Okay. For you, is this the busy season for you?
Well, it seems like right after, in February, it starts picking up more.
Yeah.
Usually, for some reason, people file divorces after Christmas.
They do. They want to get through the holidays.
I know. They get through the holidays and then it starts picking up. So I would say I'm pretty busy most of the year.
Okay.
Yeah,
we all start the year off with a bang.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you think that I missed that you really think people should know if they're thinking about buying a home or refinancing right now? They're heading into the divorce process.
I would say, not that you missed it, I would say the main thing is talk to somebody in mortgage in the beginning. And a lot of banks will not close a loan before the divorce is final, where Johnson Bank, we will close before the divorce is final. So a lot of times people will call their bank and the person they talk to never really deals with divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll say, yeah, well, call me back when the divorce is final. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I really need to be in there to help you with these numbers so that you know what you're able to afford and what you
Mm-hmm.
can do. And for the most part, I would say with the clients that I've worked with over the past 15, 16 years, everybody ends up happy.
Mm-hmm.
I just had closed a loan where he refied and she purchased her new home. They weren't
That's
divorced
awesome.
yet, and everyone was happy. You know, he bought her out of the house. We did it like 4 days prior to her closing on her new house.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not divorced yet, but we worked together on it, and it all worked out fine.
And to be honest, I mean, I think when I talk with clients, the one thing that both of them want is security, know where they're going.
Right.
And I forgot to be, just because Anne's so great and Johnson Bank's so great, the anomaly that you are in the industry, because if people don't have the option and don't, I mean, I hear a lot of people trying to use even like, the larger companies you see the commercials for, and they
Right.
won't
No.
even have the conversation, even with the partial marital settlement agreement,
Right.
and give them the option to refinance. So when people are going to different homes or think about different homes, I mean, there's a lot of anxiety over, will I have to rent first, then
Right.
move into a home, and switching homes twice, where you can, if you can come up with an agreement right away, have the conversation with Anne right away, and then come up with a plan, it would make you feel much better. And I
Right.
know that's, I guess I even forgot to bring that up. So the way they can contact you, Anne, is through johnsonbank.com.
Yeah, it's abrannon@johnsonbank.com.
And I'll include it at the end of this video, just both below, and then at the end I'll highlight how to get in contact with Anne. But just knowing that you're a good resource is going to be
Definitely.
invaluable.
And like I said, it's just good to get me in the beginning. You work through the numbers, you feel better. Everybody feels better because they know which direction they're headed in, versus getting everything settled and then they're calling a mortgage person and they don't know, now I can't qualify, or my house didn't appraise and I can't pay her out this much.
I think a lot of people have a lot of assumptions right away in the beginning. I don't know if that's just out of fear because the transition for 2 new budgets.
Right.
I think the first thought that they have is no, they can't qualify. So instead of doing that, talk with your attorney,
Right.
contact Anne right away, because the answer might be actually a yes, but you've been thinking it was a no just because you're uncertain, and then sometimes uncertainty, when you get kind of scared, you just don't go and move right away on the things that are most important to you.
Right, definitely. Yeah, knowledge is king.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that you can move ahead and knowing what you can do. It's just all part of the divorce process.
And how we've met Anne is some of the attorneys here at the office, we all do collaborative divorce, and Anne is really affiliated with that association, so she knows a lot about divorce too. And that's just all part of being a part of a network of professionals.
Right.
I, as an attorney, can't give you that advice, so you really will need to, and no divorce attorney can, you'll need to speak with someone who's an expert like Anne in the industry. Thank you, Anne, for
You're
taking
welcome.
time to go through this with us and to share this with all of you. I know this information will be valuable to a lot of you. And I will see you next time here on Sterling TV. Everyone, have a great day.